So we saw till the 10th verse last week. Yeah, so 10th, till the 10th, he is explaining his presence as the essence in everything. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejasvinam aham. And the other thing, he also says rasoham apsu, rasoham asmi. And then he also says he is uh, the prabhasa in Chandra Surya Yoho, Shashi Surya Yoho. He is also the Gandham in the Prithvi. So all of these, he says, he is the essence in all of this, if you remember, right? And which means he is also saying, I'm the lower and the higher. I am the jada, the inert, and I am also uh, the consciousness. I am the inert substance. I am also the consciousness in the inert substance. Even if you take your body or yourself, this body is inert, but the consciousness is the driver. The consciousness is something that enables his body to do something. It's like the engine, the car with everything. If the car has got beautiful seat, beautiful tires, beautiful steering, beautiful body, everything, air condition, everything is excellent. But if the engine is not there, the car is of no use. It's inert. Engine is the one that powers the car to move, to do things that it does. So in the same way, he is the lower in terms of manifestation, which means he's the inert, and he is also the higher, which means he is also the consciousness in the inert substances that give them life. Right? So he talks about that. Now he continues to say, he is balam balavatam cha aham kama raga vivarjitam. I am the bala in the balavatam. In those who are strong people, I am the bala. But which means I am the strength in or the power in the people who are powerful. But there are powerful, different kinds of powerful people. Even people who do good, there are powerful people. There are people who do harm, also powerful people. Right? There are powerful people who do good, there are powerful people who do harm. So the question is, oh, then is Bhagavan in all of that? In a way, yes, the power that is there in good people or the people who are noble, who want to do good for others, that power, that balam is also Bhagavan, or the essence, the same consciousness, the same essence, the same Shakti, same power. And the power that makes people, for example, if Hitler went and killed 6 million Jews, he had the power to do it. Now, is that Bhagavan's work? In a way, it is Shakti. It is power. Without Shakti, he wouldn't have been able to do it. But do you consider that as divine, Daivi, or Asuri? Right? See, as I said, electricity is neutral. Electricity is a power of nature. It has got no positive, negative, good, bad, high, low. There's nothing like that. Electricity is electricity, and if it's going to flow through whatever substance, accordingly, it will manifest itself. Right? The same electricity is like an open wire, and somebody goes and touches it, it turns out to be harmful. And if the same electricity is passing through an electronic device or a fan or a light, it is helpful. Right? The electricity is controlled and regulated and manifested in a way that is useful, harmonious, and helpful for people or helpful for everybody. Then you consider that as Daivi, which means there is some divinity in it, because divinity seeks to harmonize. But if it goes and it's just left out as an open wire, and people can just by mistake hold it and cause harm, or you can use that to cause harm to others, that is recognized as Asuri. electricity has got no difference there. See, this is something that we need to recognize, right? In the other theologies, in other faiths, they'll say it is God and Satan, right? Devas and Asuras. Even in our mythology, we have Devas and Asuras. In Christianity, they'll say God and Satan. But then we are talking about the consciousness that is everywhere, that powers everything. So the same consciousness that powers a God also powers the Satan. The power that powers a Deva also powers an Asura. That power is the same, but the instrument through which it gets manifest, that instrument, if the instrument is not pure, it will cause harm. So the mind is not pure, we will, if you are empowered, if you've been given power to do something, and if your mind is not pure, you will end up misusing it. Which is why a lot of times knowledge is also not given to everybody. See, a lot of people may ask, why am I not supposed to learn Upanishads, for example? Right? A lot of times it's like that. Now it's become so accessible. But in much earlier days, a lot of these Aranyaka and Vedanta or Upanishads were not accessible. Aranyakas are actually taught in isolation in the forest. That is why they were called Aranyakas. Why? Because this knowledge, like Tantra, the whole Sri Vidya way of worship or tantric forms of worship are not taught to everybody and freely given. Why? Because they can empower you. And if your mind is not pure, you can end up using it in the wrong way. Right? If you're filled with desires and you're given a tool, what will you do? You will use the tool to fulfill your desires. If somebody gave us the ability to just make people vanish, people you don't like, if you're given the ability to vanish them, make them vanish, will we not do that? Even seri padala enakku, this guy doesn't, he's not okay. அந்த பாபா படத்துல இப்படி கையை வச்சுன்னு பண்ணுவானே அது மாதிரி. You do that, and assuming we're given that power, we will misuse it. Why will we misuse it? Because our desires are so profound. Now, desires are so compelling. So here he's saying, I am the Bala, where if you're looking at me as Krishna or consciousness of God or divinity or Paramatma, I am the power where Kama Raga Vivarjitam, where there is no Kama and there is no Raga. There are no desires and there are no likes and dislikes. Passion. This is Kama Raga, the passion of desires. Vivarjitam means not there. So I am that kind of power. So see me in that. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. So I am the kama or desire which is not dharma viruddha, which is not adharmic. I am desire which is harmonious. I am desire which is not unbridled. The term unbridled means completely without control. I am not unbridled desire, which means whatever I want, I'll do. Whichever way I want, I'll do. It's not like that. Which is why even in the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma is the first one. Although Kama and Artha are the basics. Kama is all your desires. Artha is the wealth and your possessions. Both need to be underlined by Dharma. Only when there is Kama, which is the foundation of Kama is Dharma, and the foundation of artha is dharma, then there is a possibility of going towards moksha. Na yeno danon irpen, but I want moksha, that will not work. Right? We would have heard our grandparents and all say that the only best way to say this is in Tamil. என்ன எரும மாடு சாணி போடுற மாதிரி வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்கே அப்படிம்பா. Which means you're living as though the buffalo is laying its dung. There is no sequence, there is no structure, there is no order, there is no order to it. It'll just, as it walks, it'll keep just throwing the dung around. So we live like that without any necessary yama and niyama. This is in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the Ashtanga Yoga. Yama and niyama are foundational. If yama and niyama, which means the observances, the don't, which means the abstinences and the observances. If you are not established in this, then your life will be all over the place. He's saying, I am that kama, I am that desire which is established in dharma. Right? Balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam. I am that strength which is devoid of kama and raga, or the passion of desire, and I am desire which is devoid, whose foundation is dharma. Okay, so which means
அதனால்தான் வந்து நமக்கு though moksha is again a karma, it's allowed because it is of a righteous nature. Yeah.
Correct, because it is in alignment with dharma. Correct. In alignment with dharma, which is why moksha is a desire that you can hold on to, because it is in alignment with dharma. And even the kama that is in alignment with dharma is accepted. It will help you be elevated. Likewise, artha, possessions, or earning, or wealth, and all of that, that is allowed, that is acceptable if it is in alignment with dharma. And then there is a possibility of trying to achieve moksha. So Bhagavan is saying, this is what I am. Then the next one, he says, ye chaiva satvika bhavaha rajasaha tamasaha cha ye. So I am the three states, I am beyond the three states of existence, or the three modes of existence. The sattva, rajas, tamas. Matta eveti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mayi. So which means I am beyond these three states of one's existence, which means we exist as a combination of rajas, tamas, sattva. We all exist as a combination, which means within each one of us there is rajas, there is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva are the nobler guna, the nobler characteristics. Rajas is the characteristics of passion, activity, and tamas is the quality of indolence, laziness, lethargy, all of this. These three types of qualities, sattva, rajas, tamas, all these three qualities exist in us in different combinations, in different proportions. Right? If someone is able to be more and more resolved within himself, herself, and be more calm, be at more peace, be at more equanimity within, they are more and more sattva. But doesn't mean that their rajas and tamas has gone away. It's just that there is more sattva. Then if you have a lot of energy just to do activity, a lot of people would say that meditation is not for me. I have to do activity. I have to engage in activity. Then rajasic. These are for them, the rajasic tendencies are higher. And then some are tamasic in two ways. Tamasic, one is lazy to do anything, pretty much. They'll also use excuses saying that anyways Bhagavan is doing everything, so I don't have to do anything, right? So that is also sometimes an aspect of tamas. The other is, I don't want to think too much, I'll just take instructions and act on instructions. That is also a tamasic attitude. So those who are predominantly that, they may have some rajasic because you tell them they'll do the activity, but they predominantly tamasic, right? So these three gunas in a people, within people, these three gunas or characteristics are in different proportions. And what Krishna says here, these are my manifestation, which means this whole creation is a manifestation of sattva, rajas, tamas. Okay, but he says, I am beyond all of this. I means, again, as we said, the consciousness, that witness sakshi that is there within us is beyond these three because it can observe all these three. Matta eveti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mai. So which means they are in me, but I am not in them. I am beyond them. They are in me means I can observe these gunas within me. Even within us, you will see yourself. There are times when you feel very meditative. There will be times when you feel you want to get up and do a lot of action, you want to do activity. There'll be times you will feel, I just want to rest it out. I want to lie on my couch, turn on the TV, and just let the TV go and lie down. So within us, we have, whenever this happens, you will notice that you are in that state. You can observe yourself. Right now, I am feeling meditative. I am feeling active. I am feeling lethargic and lazy. So I am feeling, I am feeling, I am feeling, I am feeling, I am feeling. What is common in all this? I am feeling this, I am feeling that, I am feeling that. What is common in this? I am feeling is common. And what is even more common? I am is common. It's I am. And which is furthermore, you resolve it. What is common is I. This I is what he is talking about. This I is common across all these experiences that I have. I am not in them. Those experiences are in me. Those experiences are in me. Why? Because I can observe those experiences. One experience cannot observe the other experience, but I can observe all the experiences. Na tvaham, na tu aham teshu te mai.
பட் குருஜி ஒரு டவுட். இப்ப அவரோட ப்ரீச்சிங்ஸ் அவரோட இதெல்லாம் சொல்லும்போது நான் தான் எல்லாம், நான் தான் இதெல்லாம், நான் தான் சூரியன், நான் தான் சந்திரன், நான் தான் இது அது எல்லாமே சொல்றேன். அப்படிங்கிறப்போ இப்ப அந்த த்ரீ குணாஸ் நீங்க சொல்றீங்க இல்லையா, அதுவும் அவரோட இதுதான். அப்படிங்கிறப்ப அப்ப நம்ம தாமஸ் குணத்துல தானே ஜாஸ்தி வரும். That is, we totally believe in him. அப்படிங்கிறப்ப we surrender ourselves. Everything it will be taken care of by him. அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு attitude வந்ததுன்னா we don't get activated by our own knowledge.
Correct. So your question is, if my understanding is that everything is done by him.
Yes.
If that understanding is really established within us,
yes,
then we will actually do what is required to be done. When you require to be quiet and silent, you will be quiet and silent. When you need to act, you will act. When you don't have to do anything, you will not do anything. This understanding will be there. Right now, if you use it as an excuse to not do something, that is the problem. We should not use it as an excuse. See, right now in our current state, we don't know, because that experience that Paramatma is always with me. The Paramatma is always with me, and he is there as this observer within me. That understanding is not complete. It is not Purna within us. We have to remind ourselves. See, the moment now somebody comes, if I'm sitting here and somebody comes and irritates me, I will get irritated. Now, where is that gone? I have to remind myself, oh, no, no, no. Bhagavan is inside me. I should not get agitated. Now, that process, I have to remind myself today. It is not a natural state of being. Till the time I know, I have to remind myself that I am the observer, not this body mind. Till the time I have to remind myself, till that time, we should not use this excuse. We should do as much as sattva that is possible. We should not go towards tamasa. The moment that understanding is resolved and established inside, then automatically we will be in a state where we will know what needs to be done. Where you don't have to do anything, you will not do anything. That understanding will dawn upon. But till then, we should not use this as an excuse. Bhagavan is anyways doing. Bhagavan is in everything. So I don't need to. Now I'm just sitting anyways. Bhagavan is going to take care. Will you be able to be like that when a tiger comes in front of you? Right? You will not be able to. Or if there is a fire alarm in the building, will we be able to be calm and composed? Will not be able to. So we should also know, like somebody told, somebody used this example. Gayatri, I'll come to you in a minute. No? Somebody told this example, said, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, don't do anything, Shumma ire. So that is why I am quite like this. But then, so there's a teacher and a student conversation. The student is telling the teacher, Bhagavan Ramana told, don't do anything, be silent, just observe, be like that. So I am also sitting doing nothing. Then the teacher said, when a mosquito bit Ramana, at that time also he didn't do anything. Can you sit like that? Correct? When a mosquito is biting, then you have to run about, you'll get a net, you'll put odomas, you go and do all that, right? So when Ramana is saying, he's saying it from a different state of consciousness. What you are doing is you're only taking the convenient part and you're saying, oh, he's saying I should not do anything, so I will not do anything. But can you be hungry? After 2 meal times, when food is not there on the table, you will worry, where will I get the next meal? So to be truly in that state, when it occurs, it happens. But till then, we shouldn't use that highest state of consciousness as an excuse to say, no, now I will not do anything. Now we must run and run and run till the point we realize that running is of no use. But we cannot say that now that running is of no use, right? But right now, the only way I know is I need know to run. I have to seek. I have to meditate. I have to do dhyana. I have to do japa. I have to do nama sankirtanam. I have to go to tirtha sthala. I have to do all that till a point that comes when I realize ஓடி ஓடி அது ஒரு தமிழ்ல இது இருக்கு. Till a point you run ஓடி ஓடி, then you realize that இதுக்கு மேல ஓடி லாபம் இல்லை, then everything drops and then realization dawns. When that realization dawns, then you know, ஓட வேண்டாம் எனக்கு, இனிமே I don't want to run. The seeking will automatically dissolve, it will stop. But till then we have to seek. Right? We should not use any of these excuses at that time. Till then. Okay, ma? Gayatri.
Almost the same question, but relating to me or என்ன மாதிரி என்னோட ஏஜ்ல குட்டி குழந்தையில இருக்கிற அம்மாவுடைய கொஸ்டினா கேட்கறேன்னு வச்சுக்கலாம். see எல்லாம் பகவான் பார்த்துக்குவாருன்னு சொல்லிட்டு குழந்தைய படின்னு சொல்லாம இருக்க முடியாது. படின்னு சொல்லணும், ஆனா மார்க் என்ன வருதுன்னு கேட்க கூடாது. அப்படி எடுத்துக்கலாமா?
You don't want to tell your child study.
No. See, I have to tell I have to insist my child to study.
Yes.
But what she gets as a mark from school, that I should not pressurize her or worry about that. Can I take it in that sense? ஏன்னா இப்போ ஒரு மதரா சின்ன குழந்தை இருக்கிற எனக்கு வந்து அதுதான் என்னோட கவலை. குழந்தையோட படிப்பு என்ன ஆகும், ஃபியூச்சர் என்ன ஆகுங்கிறது தான். ஸோ இஃப் ஐ கான்ட் ரிலேட் திஸ் டு தட் பேசிக் லெவல், ஐ கேனாட் டேக் திஸ் டீச்சிங் வித் மீ இன் த லாங் ரன்
சரி,
அப்படின்னு நான்
I'll-
நினைக்கிறேன்.
இல்ல இது கோல் நம்ம வந்து கோல் பார்த்துக்கிறோம். கோல் இஸ் ஒன்லி இஸ் விசிபிள், பட் we are not looking at the path இல்லையா? we have to see the path. அந்த பாத்துல போனாதான் கோல். ரமண மகர்ஷி சும்மா இருன்னு சொல்லிட்டாரு. ஆனா சும்மா இருக்கிறதுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கறத வந்து நம்ம யோசிச்சு பார்த்தோம்னா நிறைய ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ் தட் இன்வால்வ்ஸ். இட் இஸ் நாட் ஜஸ்ட் சும்மா இருந்தா நம்ம தாமசிக்க அப்படியே உட்கார்ந்துருக்கிறது இல்லையா? யூ ஹாவ் டு பி இன் ஆக்ஷன், பட் அகேன் சே அட் த சேம் டைம் யூ ஹாவ் டு பி calm. You have to be quiet. Yeah, Guruji.
correct, absolutely right. To get to the inaction, I mean, to get to that state of non-doing, there is significant amount of doing. It's like saying when you see a fan rotating very fast, you see it as a disc. What you see it as a still disc, but what is happening is intense activity of rotation. That is one thing. The second thing is in your when you're talking about how to motivate your child to do the best, you have to motivate the child to do its best. Now that is important. Now the thing that you mentioned has the response in a way. You said குழந்தையோட future is கவலையா இருக்கு. The problem is kavala has to be dropped.
Okay.
When you have kavala with worry, when you engage with your child or your husband, forget child, any person in your life, you engage with them with worry, then what is happening is you're anticipating a future and you're worried about the future should not turn out to be like this. Which means you're in your imagination, you're creating certain imaginary worlds and you're trying to be cautious about it now, right? So that will put a lot of pressure on you and the person you're working with, right? So for the child, you have to tell the child, you have to do your best. You have to do your best. If it requires you to study this much. Now, in today's day and age, it is very difficult because a lot of pressure in the regular curriculum in schools. If you talk to, I don't know if Shiva is on the call on Zoom, but you'll talk to Shivakami, she has taken to homeschooling for the child because she realized there is significant amount of pressure and competition that is there in schooling today, education system. So she's taken the child out and put the child into homeschooling. But not many people will be able to do that, right? But net, the idea is whatever is the system that you're operating within, how you keep yourself within you is important, which means, of course, you have to drive the child to do its best possible, but the result is not what drives the child's performance necessarily. If the child believes and you believe the child has put enough effort to its best possible, then whatever is the result, we'll have to tell the child doesn't matter. You have put your best. If not now, at some point you will be recognized. It will be recognized, right? The problem that we have is every exam, every test, we want the child to score the highest or want the child to be this, be that. In comparison, the closest friend of the child may be a very good scorer while the child is not, and then there is comparison that sets in. All of this keeps happening these days. So that will build a lot of stress. And the point is, at no point should the parent carry that stress. Parent should not carry the stress, because the moment you carry the stress, the child will automatically get stressed even more. So which is why it is said we have to, it's like saying putting your oxygen mask first and then you put it for the child. So make sure you are okay first.
அது ஒரு ஆக்ஷன் வந்து இன்னொரு ஆக்ஷன் அதை லீட் பண்றது இல்லையா குருஜி? அப்ப வந்து ஹவு கேன் வி இன்டர்கனெக்ட் தட் சார்ட் ஆஃப் அந்த ஒரு காம்னஸோ இந்த ஸ்டேஜ் வரத்துக்கு லைக் வந்து நம்மள ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கு நமக்கு ஒரு கேப் வந்தா தானே வி கேன் மேக் அவர் செல்ஃப் டு அகாமடேட் டு தட் சார்ட் ஆஃப் டிவைன்னஸ்.
You're right. That is an interesting point. So maybe I'll just address that point and then we'll move on to the next shloka.
Yes.
Very interesting point. This is like saying, my mother would say the statement, எப்போ அலை ஓயறது எப்போ தண்ணிக்குள்ள போகுது அப்படின்னா. Which means when you go to the sea, you wanting to go to the sea, get into a boat and get into the sea. And you're telling, let me wait till the waves come to a standstill. That will never happen. The waves will continuously keep coming. You have to figure out a way to get onto it. And that is life. In fact, there is another beautiful a small story to this. There is a Britisher who's coming on a horse, coming into the village side in India. And then his horse is thirsty for water. And then he comes and sees one farmer standing there around the irrigation wheel, the wheel that pumps water up and down, up and down. So he's around the irrigation wheel and he spots this guy, and then the British soldier says that he takes the horse there. And whenever the horse is going, he asks him, can my horse drink water? He says, yes, please, go ahead by all means. So whenever the horse goes to drink water down, the irrigation wheel makes a sound. And the horse comes back because it's disturbed by the sound. And he does this 2-3 times. Then the soldier says, can you turn that off? My horse is not able to drink water. It's afraid of the sound. Then he turns it off, and there's no water that's coming.
Correct.
So then he tells him, no, please turn it on. My horse wants to drink water. Turns it on again, it makes noise and the horse is not able to. So then he looks at the guy, the soldier looks at the farmer and says, how do I make my horse drink water? He says, if I turn it off, the horse will not get water. The horse has to learn to drink water with the noise. This is how we learn in life. You have to, they say this in management terms, they say you have to learn to change the tires while the car is running. You will not get a chance where the car is at a pit stop and everything relaxed. Ipo change pannungo tire and then we go. You may not get that time. You may have to keep living your life and learn how to live it on in the process. Right? That is why Bhagavad Gita is important. Texts like this are important. Where did Bhagavad Gita come? Right in the middle of the war field, not in the balcony of Krishna's house, like a beautiful evening. They're sitting and having a chai. Okay, let's talk Bhagavad Gita. No, they didn't take a break to do Bhagavad Gita. It happened right in the middle of the battlefield, which means to show that in the life's battlefield is where we have to learn this, apply this, and train ourselves right here, right now. Okay. Tribhir gunamayair bhavaihi ebhihi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyah paramapyayam. So he's saying that people who are deluded or completely covered by these 3 characteristics, the gunatraya, they are in illusion, they are deluded, and they cannot experience me. They will not be able to experience me. Why? Because they are stuck in this sattva, rajas, tamas, sattva, rajas, tamas, sattva, rajas, tamas, 10%, 20%, 70%, or 30%, 20%, 50%, or 60%, 30%, 10%. It doesn't matter whatever is the percentage of these 3 characteristics within us, but you're still stuck within that. If you're going stuck within that, he's saying it is hard to perceive me. If you want to perceive me, you have to go into complete stillness. And he goes on to the next verse. He says, Daivi Shesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. This is an extremely important statement. Mama Maya Duratyaya. Bhagavan Krishna himself says that my Maya, which means this Maya that has been created, is Duratyaya. Atyaya is difficult. Duratyaya is very difficult. So, like Sashikala ji just asked, it is so difficult. Krishna himself is acknowledging it. He's saying, yes, my dear, it is very difficult.
Answer for that. Thank you, Guruji.
So Krishna himself is acknowledging our difficulty. He's saying, I understand.
Yeah.
Completely understand it is difficult. But he goes on to say, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. The one who is completely surrendering himself, his intellect, his abilities, his skill, his talent, his identity, his knowledge, his art, his relationships, his property, his possessions, everything. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, those who came to the Panchadwaraka Yatra, remember, you go to all of these, all the Dwaraka places, the one mantra they say, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. I seek refuge at the feet of Sri Krishna. So if I go into that state of mind, he says, then mayam etam tarantite. Such people are able to cross over this maya. Actually, in a way, if you look at, so this whole maya is a long conversation, but in simple terms, maya is, in Sanskritam, you say yama sa maya. Yama, that which is not, that which is not ma, sa, that is maya. So the same word is used this way. Yama sa maya. That which is not is maya, which means that which does not really exist. It exists in my experience, or what I perceive is not the truth. I perceive from my limited perception. Hence, what I perceive as this world, as this experience, as everything is limited. Right? If you go and see the way an elephant perceives the world is very different. A snake perceives the world very different. A man without ears, a deaf person perceives the world very different. So in the same way, each person perceives the world in their own way. So that is Maya. It is not the way it really is. It is determined by your faculties. It is limited by your abilities. So which is why what you perceive is not necessarily the truth. And that is the illusion I create. Mama Maya, I create for you. How? Now, what is in our experience, what is Maya? The mind. The mind is Maya from our experience, because the one that observes is quietly sitting and observing. The mind is the one that creates imaginations. The mind is the one that processes the past, creates the future. Where is it? It's all in thin air. That is the mind. And he says, if you resolve your mind into me in devotion, in contemplation, in dhyana, in japa, in sankirtana, when you resolve that mind, mam eva ye prapadyante. Same thing he says in the 66 or 68, which one is that? 66, 1866. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. You alone to me come and find refuge in me, which means I completely resolve myself, my mind, my intelligence into the thinking of Bhagavan or contemplation. Then taranti te, you can cross over Maya. Okay. Take 2 minutes and close it. Na mam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya pakrita ajnana asuram bhavam ashritaha. He says there are 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to me. What are the 4 kinds of people? One are dushkritinaha, the people who are constantly thinking of how to do ill to the others. Why do they think like that? Because there is a sense of insecurity. They feel that they don't get enough in life. They're always treated unfairly. So they end up doing not so good things to others. The second is moodhaha, the ignorant. Ignorant means they're completely ignorant about what is happening. They're just focused on their survival only. For them, their own survival itself is a big deal. So they're ignorant about these concepts, these philosophies, these ideas. They're just so drawn into their own suffering and material needs that they're stuck there. Then Naradhamaha, which means the one who's lazy. We spoke about the tamasic guna. And the fourth one, apahrita ajnanaha. Apahrita jnanaha. Apahrita apahrita ajnanaha or apahrita jnanaha. So which means one who's apahrita. Okay. One whose intellect has been apahrita, has been stolen away. Apahrita is to be stolen away or taken away, to be removed. So one whose intellect is not functioning well. He's not able to discriminate between the right and the wrong, the permanent and the temporary, the good and the not good. One who's not able to have his intellect or the viveka buddhi is not functioning. Such people will not come to me. Such people will not come to me means they will not be able to do this. Mam eva prapadyante. They will not be able to surrender themselves to me. They will not be able to go into contemplation. Such people will not be able to go into dhyana. These are four kinds of people: dushkritino, mudaha, naradhamaha, and apahrita jnanaha. Such kinds of people will find it difficult to find solace in a higher truth. They will always keep rotating and revolving and moving around within the material realm. And this is where they'll remain stuck. In fact, even in Saundarya Lahiri, there is this shloka, which is Damshtra Jalakshamala Adidara. No. No, I don't remember. So there is one shloka, maybe I'll look it up and say that. There are four kinds of people, she says, in Saundarya Lahiri, Bhagavan Shankara says that with Jadanam Chaitanya Stabakamakaranda Shtutijari Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika Janma Jaladhau Nimagnanam Damshtra Muraripu Harahasya Bhavati Nimagnanam Damshtra Muraripu Varahasya Bhavati. Ones who are deeply entrenched in material desires, she will, like Varaha, she will lift them up. She says, this is what Adi Shankara says. If you hold on to Mother, she will help you out like that. She will pull you out like that. Jadanam Chaitanya Stabaka Makaranda Shruti Jari. Jadanam, these are all Jada. Stabaka Makaranda Shruti Jari. Nimagnanam Damshtra Muraripu Varahasya Bhavati. Nimagnanam. So in this, Bhagavan Krishna is saying that these are kind of people who will not come to me. But again, by some grace, in the next sloka, he'll say there are four kinds of people who will come to me. In the next sloka, he'll say that. See, by some grace, we're able to turn. Yavano just holds our head and turns like this, right? Then, like beautifully, one person was standing. There is a huge temple, and he came at the entrance, but he was standing on that other side. He didn't know the temple was right behind. He came in a certain direction, and he's standing there, and he asked somebody passerby. He said, "How far is the temple?" He said, "If you go in the direction you're facing, it is about 342 kilometers. But if you turn around, it is 2 meters." So just a matter of turning around. If you keep searching outside, it will be, why 340? It will be 30,400 and whatever, right? It will be 34,000 kilometers, and it will still not end. But if you just turn in the right direction, turn inwards in the right direction, and then That is grace. When that grace occurs, then immediately we will be amongst one of the other 4 people in which Krishna is going to say in the next verse. We'll see that next week.
நமக்கு நிறைய டவுட்ஸ் வரது. அந்த அர்ஜுனன் வந்து கேள்வி கேட்டு கேட்டுதான் அவரோட புத்திய தெளிச்சுண்டார். அந்த மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு ஒரு குரு கிடைச்சதுனால எங்களால we can ask those simple questions to you so that we can try to come out of all this mayas, as you
Absolutely,
said.
Ma. So that is why it said Mananam, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. You listen and then you process and then you meditate upon it. So the processing is the part where you process and clear doubts. Either we think or we ask, we process. Once the doubt is not there anymore, then you do dhyana on it. Go into that meditation. So then, but this is a repetitive process. Again, we listen, again we process, again we listen. This is how it goes. Okay.
இந்த மாயா பத்தி சுவாமி தேஜோமயானந்த பாகவதத்துல சொல்லியிருக்காரு. Just quoting that phrase.
Sure.
For something to not be seen, even though it exists, and for something to be seen, even though it does not exist, this is Maya. அதே மாதிரி he says, the moment we awaken to the supreme truth, Maya disappears and all our questions get answered instantly. This is the fact.
Beautiful. That is true. In fact, there are 7 descriptions of Maya Swami Vivekananda has given. Maybe we'll look at that in one of the sessions.
Okay.
Very beautiful 7 descriptions, and he gives this experience to one of his disciples of what Maya is, because he says it's absolutely impossible for me to explain, and then he gives him an experience of what Maya is. So Swami Vivekananda does this. So it's maybe you'll look at that those 7 descriptions of Maya that Swami Vivekananda has given. But very nice, Mama. Thank you. Very
இங்க விவேகானந்தா சொன்னது நித்யானந்தான்னு கேட்டு குருஜி, சாரி.
Vivekananda. Yeah. Okay. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि, सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि, जगदम्बिकायै इति समर्पयामि, सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि. हरि ओम तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. Hरि ओम.